livelihood, to make money, which is not possible. Which is not possible. People are losing money. People have sold their land. People have committed suicides. Just take an example. They have to sell their produce, wheat for example, for 25 rupees a kg, 20 rupees a kg. And what you pay for the biscuits? 150 rupees a kg, 200 rupees a kg. They sell their sugar cane for 4 rupees a kg. What are you paying for sugar? 40 rupees a kg. So these poor farmers, they are selling their produce at a lesser price and buying the products at a higher price. How can they sustain? So if we are thinking to shift on the farm life, then we have to disconnect ourselves today from these factory products. That is the first start. Otherwise, you will get produce from the land if you shift on the land, but you won't be able to survive your lifestyle because you are still depending on those factory products. And it is clearly condemned in Bhagavad Gita and also in Bhagavatam, any factory product. But it is a big shift required in us, very big shift, very difficult to do it, I am telling you, in the kind of environment we are in. Just think, is it possible? It's possible, yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. And after hearing this session, I would like to add 2 more things. Like I said, I am from South India. So I always used to wonder why Lord Narayana is always having Lakshmi Devi as a Shri Devi and Bhu Devi on this another side. After hearing him, I understand they both are equal, Bhumi Devi and Lakshmi Devi. If you respect Bhumi Devi, Lakshmi Devi will follow.
Yes.
Also in Bhagavatam, we used to read and hear Bilva Swarga, that is under earth. Bilva Swarga is more opulent than the actual Swarga up. So after hearing you again, I revived my all this learning in more practical way, I say it. And I do have done some sort of varnashram dharma, living on land. We have a land 365 acres in Tamil Nadu near Dharampuri. So
365 acres, I think we all can go there.
We were about to settle, we were developing and was settling with Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj wanted to have a varnashram dharma there. Then they shifted to Salem. Then one of the group shifted to Karmandurai. So I have an experience, but now my exposure is all my own because nobody is giving me their feedback.
Right.
So now I can connect and can do something practical here in Vrindavan because that land is owned by my husband.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, we will take him before.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My question is in relation to the milk session we had at the end. You started off with explaining the definition of milk, and by the way, disclaimer, I'm not a vegan, so it's not a pro-vegan argument I'm asking. My question is simply, the definition said the milk is defined as something that is for that same species. And then we also went on to say that the growth potential of the cow's milk is significantly higher than human milk. And I know you also talked about humans only consuming excessive milk left over, but I didn't really see much description or definition around why is cow milk actually beneficial for the humans? Why do actually humans need cow's milk other than not having sufficient milk from their mothers initially in their growth years? Is there any other reasons prescribed or explained somewhere?
Good question. So, cow's milk as defined in the scriptures is linked with nectar, as we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. And even the saints used to go to the house of the householders at the time of milking and just collect little milk and survive on that. So they were living such a simple life, and just a little milk would satisfy them because it was coming from these whole principles as we just heard. The Mother Earth was taken care of, the plants were growing healthy, the animals were not abused. So what the humans were getting was very, very nutritional thing. So there was excess always. What we see today in terms of veganism is an unintended consequence of a wrong decision taken, and that wrong decision is separating the cow from the calf and separating cow from Mother Earth. But originally, as we discussed Yudhishthira Maharaj's regime, the milk was always excess. The calf was always with the mother. Still there was excess. So the milk was derived to perform yagyas, they needed ghee. So they were making ghee out of it. They would use milk for their sustenance. But it was very minimal. It was not like what we see today. Milk we need, dahi we need, paneer we need, cheese we need, butter we need, and number of sweets we eat. It is not good for health. We can't, our body is not fit to consume so much of milk products. But because of our conditioning that consumption of milk product will keep us healthy, this is a propaganda. So people have started consuming it without any limits. But it is consumed like a nectarian product. Even little is enough. Even Charnamrita is enough to keep us healthy. If that is the whole item which we are procuring for the Charnamrita, for bathing the deities, is coming with this process. But this whole cycle is disconnected. So these veganism principles, we are not vegans. We cannot promote that. It is not, but it is, what we have to learn is, it is an unintended consequence. Because it started now, it is alarming in the whole world that abuse is happening now. And that's a reality. Abuse is happening. But then the solution is what? Solution is not just depriving or stopping from doing anything. Solution is start regenerating your soils. That is the solution. Let them be together, mother and the calf. And then if there is excess, there is no abuse, there is no cruelty. Then there is no problem. Coming to the question, what is the need? So it depends on person to person what he wants to eat. Like I don't drink milk and milk product. It is my decision. Somebody might be consuming. So food pattern varies from person to person. Somebody survives on fruits. Somebody survives on vegetables. Somebody wants grains, a lot of grains in the meal. Somebody consumes soups and salads. So what you consume is left to you. What the principle given in Bhagavad Gita is, what is Sattva Guni Ahar? So we are all supposed to consume Sattva Guni Ahar, which is wholesome, juicy, fatty, and satisfying to the heart. This is a definition given in Bhagavad Gita. So it is nowhere mentioned that you should eat apple a day keeps a doctor away. Scripture is not like that. Scripture is giving principle. Method you have to choose as per your situation. If you are in, for example, Uttar Pradesh, there is no apple growing here. That means nobody in Uttar Pradesh is healthy? No. What grows here, you should consume that. So our scriptures are giving principles, not a specific eating pattern. So what you question, milk is not necessary. If you don't want to consume, you don't consume. It is left to you. But if somebody wants to consume milk, we should not stop them. What we are trying to preach is, follow the principle. It should not be abusive. To get your food, you cannot exploit others. That is the principle we are teaching here. Does it make it clear or?
I guess I'm still wondering, given the situation we are, not everyone's a farmer, so I may not have land and I can't raise cow and wait and get it. Does that mean because I can only get commercial milk, what you have milk? Because if I want it?
It's your decision. If you want to stay healthy, and if you want to stay healthy, what we understand, this milk, what is available in the market is not going to give you health. So it's your decision what you want to do. It's absolutely individual decision. It can't be imposed on the community. Like, for example, we are all ISKCON devotees, so it is recommended, highly recommended to wake up in the Brahma Muhurta, attend Mangal Arati, chant our 16 rounds. But if somebody is not doing, what will we do? We can't remove him from the community. It is about everything. It is about everything in our life. It is everything is a self-decision. Even the whole Bhagavad Gita is a decision-making exercise. Arjuna could not take a decision what to do. And Krishna inspired him, guided him correctly, and then left it to him. Right? He didn't say, "Abhi ladna hi padega." Krishna didn't say that. What he says? Whatever you want to do, you do, Baba. So discretion is free will is given to us. Now, given a situation, given an understanding, given your level of consciousness, you will take a decision what you want to do in this situation. And that decision should take you to your context. What is the context of your life? That is the most important thing we should be remembering with every single decision we take. Otherwise, we will keep taking decision. Someday we are going towards our context, someday we are going on the side. Like someday if he is using chemical in the land, and someday some year he is not using, then he cannot do this test before us. He is following the principle continuously, consistently, satatam. So we can't make like what it is up to you. After understanding, whatever level of understanding you have derived, you have to take a decision now.
Thank you. I have a couple of comments. Firstly, I was just going to mention, I don't know, you may know currently what the statistics are, but I do believe in, at least in America, I think it's actually more than 50% of all the grain grown in America is actually fed to cows for beef. That's really, really sad. I mean, you know, when we're speaking Ugra Karma, that is a huge, I don't know how to describe it, so just thought I'd mention that. One other thing with, I noticed you did discuss topsoil depletion, you know, like in relation to water, but you didn't speak so much about what we call erosion itself, you know, because erosion actually affects not only the topsoil, it affects like whole landscapes.
Yes.
Can end up being, you know, actually washed away. And erosion globally, especially in Australia, where I've spent a lot of time, erosion is a huge problem, you know, as well as salination is another huge problem. But just in relation to this, I was going to mention, because, you know, as you had very nicely presented, that like in a healthy functioning ecosystem, all the parts are connected and they are functioning as one. So I was thinking, you know, the sort of dichotomy of that is that in an unhealthy ecosystem, all of these horrible things like desertification and salination and erosion, they all seem to impact on each other as well, you know, because on one of the screens you asked the question, well, does drought cause barren land, or does barren land cause drought? And to my understanding, they all impact on each other. Sadly, you know, all of these, shall we say, destructive elements within an ecosystem, often they are all sort of connected. But just very quickly, the last point, sorry. Just towards the end of today's presentation, when you were speaking about the cows, and down the bottom of the screen, I think you had a statement that said, you know, like cows are our resource. And, you know, like I've spent a lot of time covering, like in academics, what they call animal rights debates, you know, globally, you know, and there are some very good points put forward by academics who actually do care for animals and who actually do want to protect them. And there is a famous dichotomy. It goes, well, you know, human beings, we can actually appreciate animals in two ways. One is that we appreciate animals for their intrinsic value. That means the value that the animals have in and for themselves. The other one is to appreciate them for their instrumental value. In other words, what can that animal do for me? You know, so I'm thinking, you know, to identify mother cow as a resource, it may be sort of dangerous, because then we are thinking more about, what mother cow, or any other animals for that reason, what they can do for us, rather than, what she is in herself. She has value in and for herself, rather than just being a utility for us. I was wondering if you could comment a little bit on that last point.
Okay, so yeah, it's a good comment. Thank you for bringing up that soil erosion point. We missed out that. It's a big problem. We were talking desertification, and soil erosion is runoff of the water. It is happening with rainfall and with air also, because it is all dirt around now. Even air causes a lot of soil erosion now. And soil erosion is more than what we produce food today. So they quantify 10 times. We produce 10 times eroding soil than we produce food today. In tonnage description, the figures are published like that. And regarding the other part of resource, looking at the cows as resource and not as if they are living their intrinsic life for their own benefit and then maybe what they are useful to us. So yes, everything we are viewing here is as a resource in the service of the whole, not for us. When we talk resource, but because it's a normal understanding we have, when we look anything as a resource, we think, oh, it is for me. But here, nothing is for us. We are the end beneficiary in the system. This is how the system is designed. Even though we are trying to use every single thing for our advantage, the result is we are still suffering. Our diseases have increased, our problems have increased, our lifespan are decreasing, our stress in the life has increased. So when we term here anything as resource, it is resource in the system, not to our advantage. So we are talking that we want to give them a good environment, a natural habitat where they live with their family. So the whole principles are to protect the rights of these animals, not only for the cows, but all the single species that is existing. So this is the understanding about the word resource in our presentation particularly. Thank you. Here and then here.
Prabhuji, just want one question with Prabhuji. That organic produces, these are very costly. If I buy, because I am from the Muscat, Oman, so I am using all the cold storage food and all. So whenever I go for the organic foods, like a 24 mantra and all, we are getting products. It's a very costly. So is there any idea you have that we can make a comparable prices with the unorganic food? Is it possible in this current scenario?
So my experience with farming also when I started doing chemical-free farming or natural farming. So first few harvests, yield is very low. And since I was not coming from a farming background, though I come from a farming family, so understanding of the farming ecosystem is very, very different from anybody. Though I got a lot of inputs from my family, so understanding what is suited for that particular ecosystem, that particular land, that particular water is very important. So the traditional farmers, so if somebody is coming from outside and growing food, even with a lot of reading and knowledge and training, it is difficult for him to produce at low cost and achieve high yields. But if somehow we are able to achieve converting traditional farmers from conventional farming to natural farming, they have that inbuilt knowledge of what they have gathered and understanding of the ecosystem. My personal experience about my land, I was trying to grow a lot of produce which are not grown in that belt in the initial few years. So slowly I understood what can be grown and what cannot be grown, and that's how yield was coming to almost equivalent to the conventional ones. Though not kind of equal, but it is nearing now to this thing. The price difference is more of a demand-supply issue. Because we do not have many natural farmers, and hopefully we'll have in future, because this cognizance is developing among the consumers as well as among the farmers, like we are kind of wasting our land, we are wasting our health on everything, right, because of this conventional farming. Just for your knowledge, so my family for 30 years, we have been eating natural grain, and not conventional grains. So almost all farmers who have decent land, they grow their own food separately, and food that is to be sold, that is grown separately. And they don't eat what they sell, they don't sell what they eat. So as this cognizance increase that this is an ecosystem, this is a lifestyle, and I think there was a point around convincing the farmers. So I have been talking to a lot of farmers to shift from conventional to natural ways of doing things. So the problem is the patience part. I mean, shifting to natural and bringing about the same outcome and sustaining lifestyle, it will happen, but it will take some time. So, I mean, they are not ready to kind of wait for, say, 2-3 years to be able to have same kind of earning from the land. So, my hope and prayer is that it will certainly come down. It has drastically come down. I mean, we have statistics. We have been following this market also. For past 3-4 years, prices have been drastically coming down because current government is talking a lot about natural farming, and a lot of farmers are now thinking and actively thinking and turning towards natural farming. So let's hope that things will be better and we'll save Mother Earth through this natural ecosystem that we create.
I would like to add something to this. This
So
costing part is coming in because we are putting a lot of input cost. What we learned today, inputs are all free. And once we farm for our family, there is no concept of commerciality left. As he said, everybody is growing for their own things and they have a separate thing for selling, right? So every single farmer, being you and being me, we should grow for our family. And then what is excess, we should sell. So this question of comparative analysis won't come. But because today we are just becoming consumers and not trying to be the other side, the producers, number one, we are giving away more money, and number two, we don't know what we are getting on top of it. Because so somebody asked, how to check, are there other measures? Because we are struggling to ensure that this is the correct thing we are eating. How many of them are genuine? We don't know. So the ultimate direction is taking us to yes. Yes, Prabhu.
So Prabhu, another question is like we are in the right forum, and since this is noble cause, this we are getting so much knowledgeable information and all. So is this possible that this we can make a WhatsApp group and then people can
It is
throw the
already there.
ideas? No, not.
Everybody is not there. Where is Jugal Prabhu? No, we already have a WhatsApp group.
He told he will create it.
Who all are there on the WhatsApp group? Please raise your hand. On the WhatsApp group, we have made a WhatsApp group for this. So who all are not there, please give your number to Simple Living High Thinking. So you can give your number to Jugal, the devotee. Come, please, आगे आ जाइए आप. Please come here. So you can circulate the file. They can write their name and number, and he will do it.
And Prabhu, this, with this, that if we can form a community, and maybe some can be perform a role of the farmer, and some can be through idea in this supply chain logistics and all, and maybe make it a commercial this thing to basically to it's for the community at large, because those who are not doing farming, like me, I'm not a farmer, but I'm working in a multinational company, so that maybe I can also just consume those products and do a marketing for that.
No, you are right. So, but that will be depending on the temple management, how they will go about.
Yeah, like that 24 mantra is a very famous product. Yeah. So, yeah. So similar to that, if we can,
but we have gathered to do something. So that is for sure. We are not going to just end it after the session. We want to do something practical, right? Otherwise, what is the fun in discussing?
That's what the
Everybody will
WhatsApp
say
idea.
amazing, amazing, wonderful, wonderful, and then forget. Right? Somebody here? You? You and then you.
So, Hare Krishna, thank you for everything. My question is, when we enter in a land was eroded, what are the first steps to do?
Okay, so when we enter into a land which is already eroded or not in a good health, what is the first step? The first step is to cover the soil. It starts from there. So say for example you are starting in the dry season when there is no rain. So you just cover it with, as I gave the example of that peels of oranges, you just cover it, and when the rain will come, things will start shaping up. First and foremost step is to cover the soil. That is the first thing. Without that, nothing will manifest. But that will be discussed in length tomorrow, the whole step-by-step process, step 1, step 2, step 3.
And is it possible to protect the new plant and from the cows by planting, like you said, thorn bushes with thorn around the gardens and to let the cows around? Or is it always obligatory to put fence?
Yeah, initially, we will see this also tomorrow. There will be separate area for grazing and separate area for cropland. So in the growing season, the cows are on the pasturing field, and the dry season, they will be on our cropland eating the residue, what is left after harvesting. But tomorrow we will discuss at length.
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, maybe I will have a cruel question, I'm sorry for that, and maybe tomorrow we will discuss this topic, but what are we going to do with all the bulls? Because mother cow, I understand, and the calf, but what are we going to do with all the bulls? Because as Prabhu said, the farmers have their inbuilt knowledge. So I used to be in the horse business, and I mean, you know, when you have a stallion which is just too wild to handle, you don't want to kill it. And that it's a practical way to castrate, and then you can still make good use. And also, I mean, practically, you cannot keep these bulls together. So it's like a big, you know, you need a lot of land. So this is my question.
A good question. So, as per our understanding, the function of cows and bulls is same, is to graze. So bulls have to also perform their function of grazing. They also break the soil, they also put their dung, they also put the urine. It is equally effective, it's not only cows. So just by the movement of these cows and the bulls, agriculture manifests. But how to move them is a science. Because people have not understood this, Krishna was practically demonstrating how to move the cows. So we will be learning that also tomorrow, how to move these animals so that the soil develops. If they are not moved properly, the soil will be spoiled also. There are instances, if you go to some villages I have seen in Gujarat, the grazing lands are almost like barren soil, 365 days. The cows are going there every day. But it is because the cows are uncovering the soil. So the grazing has a principle where you never uncover the soil even despite of grazing. So the whole grazing aspect will be taken tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a little longer session, maybe 15-20 minutes more. But tomorrow we'll finish, tomorrow is the last day. So that will be covered. So function of bulls is also grazing. There is no other function set for them. All the animals who graze, herbivores, right? Goats, sheep, buffaloes, the bisons, cows, they are all function is just to graze. They have to move in herd and keep recycling the biomass that is growing. How to manage them is our job. So the herders are the most important community. And so Krishna was the coward boy. He was teaching the most important science of grazing. So we will try to touch little bit tomorrow. But to understand the function of bulls is also grazing, and castration is not allowed. No, even here, but even non-castrated bulls are used to work. If you go in South India, they don't castrate the bulls. They use non-castrated bulls for farming also, and they work well. It is all about training. When you start them training for a particular service, they behave accordingly. I mean, we were doing in our farm, but I don't know if somebody is really teaching. But my experience is just staying with them, and once they are allowed to be stress-free, and they are stress-free when they are on the land, when they are with their families, when they get enough to eat and enough to drink water, then they are never harming you, never. The most wild bulls I have seen, they have become so docile. But because they are generally kept tied in an area, they are always smelling their dung and urine, so they are always disturbed, they are always in stress. And when we go near them, they behave irrationally. So we have to create a natural habitat for them. And that natural habitat is giving them access to land.
Hello.
I think
Hare
I have a meeting now. We will take this last question.
It's coming to the cows. Actually, nowadays people don't know exactly what the cows is. They consider Jersey as a cow also. Even National Dairy Development Board, where I work for some long time, they are promoting this Jersey milk as a cow milk, and everywhere we getting outside is actually Jersey milk, which is considered a cow. What we are getting from Amul and all these things, they are selling Jersey milk as a cow milk. So we should be even Western countries also, in Denmark and all other places, they are having cows, and it's actually Jersey as a cow they consider. Actually, it's wrong.
Actually, what I have understood is you cannot get a healthy milk from an unhealthy cow. So it's a Deshi cow or a Videshi cow or a Jersey cow or a Gir cow. If she is unhealthy and if she is not treated properly as per the system, then whatever milk you get is unhealthy. So,
but Jersey milk is not for the human being. Actually, that milk is actually like a poison, but we are considering
what
it.
we discussed here, the milk which is derived forcibly from the cow is like a poison. So when you keep the cow and the calf separated and you acquire that milk, it is poison.
That's true, that's all right. But first of all, cow, what is the definition cow? That's the main thing. The Jersey is also nowadays considered as a cow. That's not, that should not be.
Jersey is also a breed of a region, like Swiss Brown is a cow, Holstein Friesian is a breed, Jersey is also a breed. So it's a natural breed, but it is good for that locality where it has taken birth. If we import it, or if you say Gir cow from here, if you take to Canada, you can't take benefit of that cow.
Because there is a milk, means there are A grade and A1 grade, A2,
yeah.
like that. There are different qualities of them.
So we are defining it. We are defining it very clearly. Healthy milk means milk derived from healthy cow. And who is healthy cow? Who is grazing on healthy grass. And where is healthy grass? Which is growing on healthy soil. So if this is not following, then all other principles are of no use.
Okay, but what I am saying that it should be cow. We can't say that, other animals' milk as a cow. It should not be cow's milk.
This is what I am telling. There are natural breeds. This HF, Holstein Friesian, is a natural breed. Swiss Brown is a natural breed. Jersey is also a natural breed.
Jersey is a natural. Yes, I don't think so. It's a hybrid thing. Hybrid.
No. Hybrid
made
is
from the,
if you breed Tharparkar cow with a Gir cow, it becomes hybrid. That is happening in India also.
But from cow to cow, that's all right, hybrid cow. But
No.
Cow made from, some other animals from.
Not other animals from is not possible. It is a myth. How can we create a species which is not created by Krishna? We cannot create it.
No, but we are calling that as cow. That's the problem.
No, because it is created by Krishna, it is cow.
No. I'm saying a Jersey as a cow we are considering. That's not a...
Jersey is a cow.
No, it's not a cow.
Anyways, there is a lot of propaganda like this, but it is not very scientific.